Was that the first session back today, Mick, for you? Or?
Yeah, for the boys it was the first session back, first third year players. So I think they got about 4 or 5 kilometres into their legs, and a few of us are in the gym, and we'll kind of run on the off days, which will progress leading into Christmas, and we'll get more of a chunk of the group back over the next fortnight and see how we go from there.
Yourself, mate, are you looking forward to having a good crack at a full pre-season?
Yeah, absolutely. Probably personally, I'm in the best position I have been in my time at the footy club. I've been able to pretty unrestricted over the break running wise, and able to get a pretty good fitness base in. So really excited personally, but collectively we had a lot out there today, and a few second and third year boys really pushing their claims. From day one, which is really exciting.
Has everyone been doing a bit of work through the off season? Like, how they've all come back?
Yeah, I suppose our measurements are our skin folds, and the running component of it, the time trials and all that. And I think when we get the full group back, we'll get a better indication of how everyone's been over the break. But from first impressions from the first third year players, it's outstanding, and we couldn't be better placed with our young group coming back, relatively injury free and available. So
this group was challenged by Ross about BNF as the ones who had to come through and be the reason this team goes forward. It seems like, obviously from what you're saying, they've taken that on board.
Yeah, there's no question that obviously our list's been turned over quite stringently over the last 4 or 5 years, and the core group of our players are probably first to 5 year players, with our veterans like Luke McFarlane and Matthew Pavlich that are long-term proven performers. So our improvement's going to come from the bottom up, and the more games we can get into the guys like Tom Sheridan, Hayden Crozier, Viv Mitchie, if he can start relatively injury-free and get on the park, those guys are going to be where our improvement comes from, and challenging for the spots to add to our depth at the club, which is really shown probably over the last half of last year.
Mickey, a lot of the clubs have taken altitude training, they've gone overseas. Have you spoken to any of your sort of AFL mates in this and say what they think of it? And do you reckon maybe Freo could entertain that in the future?
It's a bit of a craze, isn't it? I suppose there's probably 5 or 6 clubs that are doing it. I know Greg Broughton's gone over to Arizona and won the trek up the mountain, so I think maybe our program stands up if he can go over and prove to the Gold Coast Suns that he's at that kind of fitness base. I'm really, that's up to our sports science guys. We put a lot of money and effort into our resources at sports science level, physios, doctors, and then the knowledge of the coaches. We just back them to the hilt, and what they say goes, and we have 100% faith in our program, and I think we're really comfortable with where we're at, and it's a great place to train over the summer. I think we're in for a bit of a stinker, which is pretty exciting, isn't it? So
you reckon it's a bit of a fad going to Arizona?
I've never personally been able to experience the training camp aspect of Arizona or high altitude or what Port Adelaide did in Europe. So I've never experienced it. Everyone's trying to get the edge, but as I said, we're with our resources, our sports science guys. We have 100% faith in them, and the coaches do as well. So we're in a really good position.
Speaking of Port, have you caught up with Daniel Pearce?
I have, yeah. I gave him a call last week. He got over here, I think on Saturday. So, and he'll join in, I think, with the first or third years probably from Friday or Monday next week. Just getting settled over here. So it's exciting to have him on board, and it's the nature of the beast, I suppose. With the trade week, we'll get new players coming in. We lose a few through delistings, but then we get a few more through the draft. So it's an exciting time, and our list will keep turning over and turning over for the better, we hope.
What will he bring to the team, do you think?
Obviously, he's a really quick and skillful player, and a experienced player. So I think the recruiting team's gone out and identified some places we probably need to improve, and that might be the speed on the outside. So that's something Daniel can definitely bring to the group, and looking forward to training and playing, getting to know him on a personal level.
It'd be nice, obviously, you get one of the accumulators in the team, not the quickest like yourself, but it's nice that it's true.
My state screening results beg to differ. I was in the top 5% over 20 metres. Yeah. Get that on tape.
How good is it to have a bit more speed?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, he's, as I said, a proven performer, and we'll get him over, and the roles he'll play predominantly probably the wing, the half back, and it's exciting to watch players across the league that have that pace, like Lewis Jetta and Cyril Rioli, and they just bring that X factor to the side. We don't want to put any unexpected expectations on, and Daniel, he's got to come in and prove his worth, and get into our best 22, and that's a challenge to him, and he'll be looking forward to that. But until we get longer into the pre-season and into the NAB Cup, we'll start to identify what he can actually bring to the Fremantle Football Club.
How about Brett Kurt? Nick, what excites you about working with him in midfield?
Well, he doesn't play on us anymore. He's a tough one to play against, but he's a fantastic character. Had a little bit to do with him over the last few years, only really sporadically. I've spoken to him once or twice, but he comes in, and I met him about a week ago, and I've had some really good chats with him, and he's just a really giving person, a really a compassionate person, so someone that will listen, and I think he's been across probably 60% of the list already, and had a good 5-10 minute chat at minimum with them. So obviously a premiership captain, a well-respected former player of the game, and he's got runs on the board and comes into this environment. Always is really driven and wants to improve everyone around him as well as himself. So it's a really exciting time for the club, and I think for Brett as well and his family to come over to Perth and to Fremantle and start a new journey.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's a fair bit of improvement in your midfield group?
I think so, and I think we saw that probably towards the second half of last year. There was a fair bit of criticism towards us, and rightfully so. First half we're slowly coming to grips with the changeover in coaching and structures, but I think our second half really stood up, and there's definitely a lot more improvement to come. We've got a pretty good core group there, like Nathan Fife and myself and Tendai Mzungu, and then some of the younger guys that are in that bracket of first to 3-4 year players, Stephen Hill, 5th year player. So I think this year's we can really look to take the next step and become a really consistent midfield, because I think we showed for probably 8 or 9 weeks last year that we're up to it, but consistency is probably our main aim this year.